Hi guys, we're back. I am a huge fan of YouTube and I assume you are as well because, well, you're on YouTube. And I was going down this food video rabbit hole and I came across a hack for baking your pizza when you don't have a pizza oven. Now normally I would use my baking sheet preheated in the oven as a substitute for a pizza stone, but they said using a stone doesn't really work because you put cold dough onto it and it really takes all the heat out of it, so your pizza won't puff up as much. So I'm going to give their hack a go and I'm going to bake one pizza using the regular way and one pizza using their hack. So I'm very curious to see if there's a difference, and if so, how big that difference is. So let's go. I've gonna put everything in my bowl to knead in my KitchenAid. It's 330 grams of lukewarm water, 7 grams of dry instant yeast, 500 grams of flour, 10 grams of salt, 15 grams of olive oil and 5 grams of honey. I'm going to knead that until it's a supple, uniform dough, and I'll get back to you once it's done because it takes quite a while, around 10 minutes, but I'll show you what you need to look out for and the signs of when your dough is ready. The dough has been kneading for around 8 minutes. I've been doing regular checks for the window pane test. Always wet your hands while touching the dough. So the window pane test is when you can stretch out your dough until very thin without it tearing. That means that you build enough of the gluten network that your dough is very strong and that it's able to contain all of those gases built up by the yeast, which will make for a very puffy dough instead of a flat pizza dough. So like this. This is the sign to check for to see if your dough is ready. Okay, so now it's going to rise for about an hour until it's doubled in size, but it's very dependent on the temperature in your home, so always check the dough and never the clock. The dough has risen nicely, as you can tell, so it's time to shape our pizza. Flour your worktop. Get your dough scraper. Scrape out your dough. I'll make portions around the same size. Normally I would weigh them, but it's fine to just eyeball it a bit. It's not like they're going in the oven at the same time, so it doesn't really matter as much. So I've been forming my little pizza dough balls. It's important to form those balls for two reasons. First, it's easy to shape your pizza dough into a circle by just pressing down and stretching out. And also it's important to form a tight skin because this will contain all of those built up gases in the dough, which will make your pizza puff up. So as you can see, or maybe not from that far away, but I'll show you in a bit, you can see all of those nice air bubbles in the dough already. So what you do is you make sure that your pizza is loose, so you flour your countertop and then you pull in all of the edges like a little mozzarella ball, like this, and you pinch them together. Then on a not floured surface you turn around and you scrape your dough over the countertop until a nice tight ball starts to form. Just gently. And that's it. And look at this. These are all those air bubbles you want to contain in your pizza dough. I have put flour on my baking sheet so I can remove them easily later on, and I've put flour on my dough as well, so when I cover them now with a damp paper towel or a damp towel, it won't stick to the dough. This needs to rise for another 45 minutes while I preheat the oven to the highest setting possible, the highest temperature possible. For me it's 230 degrees. I actually do have a pizza stone, but it's broken, so I don't use it at this moment. I turn over my baking sheet and put this in the oven while it's preheating, so it's very hot and we can slide our pizza onto it easily. The oven has preheated for around 45 minutes. I took my little pizza dough ball, I floured my pizza shoot, and now I'm pressing down in the center and just stretching out a bit. So making sure all that air stays in the ring of the pizza dough. By doing this, you allow the dough to gently stretch out without really overworking it. You'll get a nice thin crust. Okay. As you can see, there's a lot of air in this crust. So this will make the pizza puff up really nicely. And always check before you put everything on it if your pizza is still moving, because otherwise you don't want it to stick when you put it in the oven, because that will be awful. So the hack is first to bake your pizza dough in a cast iron skillet, because that's bloody hot. It's been heating up on the stove now for I think like 2 or 3 minutes, and because of all that heat, your dough will be even more puffier, more open air, more open crumb. So yeah, let's do it. I'm kind of nervous though to put it in. Ta-da! They look quite similar, to be honest. So I'm very curious to see what happens when we cut them and we do a taste test. I feel like this one has a more crispy bottom. So yeah, let's taste. So let's start with the method I would normally use. The pizza baked on a baking tray. It is very fluffy and airy, but the back is not as well baked as could be, so let's give it a try. I mean, it's pizza, it's nice. I love the crust, I love the taste, but it could be a bit more crunchy at the bottom. So let's give the other one a try. I'm very curious. Next up is the skillet pizza. It is not as airy, but still it's very nice and open crumb. The biggest difference by far is this. Look at it. I mean, my God. Yeah, The bottom is really crunchy. It really has that wood oven effect. It even has a little bit of that smokiness because of the char. I didn't expect such a big difference, but I'm really surprised and happy as well, because this means I can bake my pizzas with the same effect that you get in a wood oven. The only thing maybe I would do differently next time is make them a little bit smaller so they have more room to puff up. And I think if I do that, they'll have an even more open, airy crust. So yeah, very happy with it. What do you think? How do you normally bake your pizza? Let me know in the comments down below. And I hope you enjoyed this video and you thought this tip is very useful. At least I know I did. So I'm very happy with it. So yeah. It's time for lunch.